They're not showing us the...
Just relax, Campy.
This was a big one.
Which camera you want me to look at, Tommy? This one?
That one's got you. That one's got a bit of you side on, but it's mostly campy.
I'll look at that one.
That one's going to have the most high res, James.
This one?
Yeah, and no campy.
High res James.
Let's not use camera 2 then, that you were cut through.
It's easy.
I like it.
Hello, welcome to another episode of the Oz F1 show. In this episode, Campy unfortunately joins us and we review episode 9, season 3 of Netflix's Drive to Survive. Hello.
Where have you been?
Boys,
What are you doing?
been away.
Where?
You know, just doing some best man things at a wedding.
That's right, mate. We'll just carry the show without you as
The
usual.
fact that there's someone out there in the world who doesn't have any other friends and had to promote you to best man.
Well, here's a question.
Strangers, people at the bus stop.
There are people. There's actually a
Nah,
service you can
Campy.
hire, like groomsmen and bridesmaids.
All right, a few ignorant plebs to my right.
I'm joking.
How many times have you been the best man at a wedding?
Never.
I have no friends, mate, so I
That'll
don't
be my
even
third,
pretend.
so I'm
Third.
a man of the people. Unlike you two squids.
Did you make a good speech?
Anyway, we're not here to talk about
No.
Campy, thank goodness. We're here to talk about Drive to Survive. And in this episode, it was all about Roman's crash and also Sergio Perez's massive disappointment and then epic elation of winning and then obviously signing for Red Bull, which was good. Now, Campy, you haven't really sat down to watch Drive to Survive yet, which is fine.
I haven't had time, so...
But you thought, drama-wise, it was quite a lot, right?
Oh, excellent. The storytelling this year from the 2 episodes that I've seen is far better than what we've seen in the previous couple of years. They've stepped it right up this year. I mean, you've got an incredible storyline for this this particular episode, but yeah, I was super impressed. It was really good.
Yeah, I think I read a couple of comments in our Discord chat about, you know, maybe it's hammed up a little bit about the Grosjean crash, and absolutely it was. I mean, hello, as I said in the previous episode, it's drama, right? It's a television show over really, you know, there are facts there, but it's all amped up.
But watching that back with the slow-mo scenes of the fire and getting the perspective of all the team principals and the other drivers put in there, I'll tell you what, I mean, watching that again, it was probably felt worse than when we watched it live together the first time.
Yeah.
Because it happened so quick. But
Yeah.
still, incredible pictures. Crazy that we got that level of detail for the view of the crash. And then all the stuff online, the simulations of the crash afterwards. You could just see how scary, and it's a once in a million. You could put a car into that same barrier 100 times and that's not going to happen again.
Yeah.
So, but the flames, that was the thing that got me.
Yeah.
Pierced right through that rubber fuel tank, and incredible scenes, but it's good to see him alive, and I hope he gets to do a test with Mercedes like Toto said afterwards.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
I mean, he's in IndyCar now and not sponsored by Gene Haas because apparently he can't give him some sponsorship because he can't do that to his wife. Anyway, that just sounds like an interesting excuse to not put any more money into the bloke. But I was really emotional watching that back, like holding back, kind of like, oh my goodness. Not only for the crash, but also for Sergio's win too, because at that point we didn't know that he was going to Red Bull. He didn't know what his future held, and the week before he was set for a podium, and a failure 2 3 laps to go.
And he should have had some podiums earlier on in the year as well if Racing Point didn't pit under safety cars when they probably shouldn't have. I mean, Danny Rick got a 3rd place, inherited that because Racing Point chose to pit. So, look, Checo had an excellent year last year, and the results he could have had 2 or 3 more podiums throughout the year if things had gone his way too. So,
how did you find it, Tommy T?
You're just reminded that we were watching this guy have his best year ever and he still didn't have a drive at the end of the season, which is insane to think. And not once, and you mentioned it while we were watching, not once did they mention Stroll throughout this whole thing. And we're like, This guy's useless. In the last 2 Bahrain races, he did nothing, and Perez massively outperformed him, but still he was on his way out. It was very disappointing. We also kind of touched on Albon and his perspective of this shift, because he kind of felt like it was his last opportunity in these last couple of races, and he didn't do well enough. No. And it was pretty clear on his face he knew what was going to happen.
And we sort of said that a couple of episodes ago that, we'd build Albon up to that he could have been successful if Brazil the year before had gone differently, and Austria would have gone differently too. But I still feel for him. I think it was just a series of unfortunate events where it's led to him not being in Formula One. And yes, he didn't drive well enough and a whole range of other things, but I still feel like he wasn't ever a jerk. He was always super friendly on camera. The team loved him. He was always really good with the other boys in terms of his generation of drivers too. So still sad. I mean, I'm sure he's going to do great things in DTM, but it's not exactly where he probably pictured he would be after that period of time.
And the thing I love about, like Drive to Survive too, is that it's easy for us to sit here and have big opinions and bold and take the piss out of people, call people out when they're sucking, but they're actually people at the end of the day.
Yeah.
When the camera's on them and they're as real as you and me are sitting next to each other, you actually have a lot more passion for them and heartfelt towards because they're people. They've got dreams and ambitions, and sometimes in this sport, a lot of those things don't happen, and that's what comes across as transparent. Like Albon didn't have the greatest career for Red Bull, but his whole life, everything that has led up to this point has got him to the chance to fulfill his dreams, and unfortunately for him, he didn't succeed. It's hard to watch on TV sometimes. So.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that we enjoy about this, and why we even started doing Oz F1 to begin with was to try and bring a little different perspective to the sport. And yes, we've got big opinions, and we're highly critical sometimes of these guys. But one thing I love about Netflix, and yes, they sort of draw out some of the drama sometimes, but it's more about the storyline, so you can invest in the drivers and you can invest in the story.
Sure.
And there's so many people who have watched it as a result. But anyway, so that's episode 9. We've got one more to go in our binge session, at least for Tommy T and I. Campy, thanks for joining us. It's nice of you to show up for a change, and we'll see you for the next episode of Netflix's Season 3 of Drive to Survive.